And we're back. All right, so the idea behind this cleaning swab, as well as the brush, the copper brush, is this cylinder, which is this one, which is where you put a new hull, or an empty hull, or a fired hull. So there's potential dirt and grime on a used hull because you're not throwing those through a tumbler. So there's the potential for that dirt and grime to get caught up in that cylinder and then do its thing. So I saw this, and because the camera is right in front of me, I'm gonna try to do this without looking, and it should be as simple as finding the. I'm going to leave that alone. I was going to say finding the hole and just pushing it in, screwing it in. So I will screw this in, and it's got a little hole, so I'm assuming that's for something like an Allen wrench to put a little leverage in there, tighten it up. But I like this idea with both either the brass brush, and then obviously you can just change the head by screwing that in as opposed to dealing with this. So maybe tighten this. Let me give that. What size is that? That looks about this size. So maybe put that in there. Give it a little twist. All right, so that is in there for good. And now it will be very easy to just clean or change those as needed, whether it's a new dry or a new copper brush. But there you go. So that will clean to some degree each of those cylinders, and based on again the condition that he kept his gear in, they were all quite clean. And this will be a hard to do everything one-handed when you're on film. This will be a good inspection. I was thinking about doing a brake cleaner on each one of those just to get it fresh. But that was my second upgrade, because my first upgrade was, as I said, these stickers. Two stickers have holes in them. That's to release this plate from the spool. But I put the other stickers on, so now that is all fresh and good. So I'm gonna rearrange the camera so you can see me doing the handle. So Murphy's Law, this will be interesting because the tripod and camera are absolutely right in front of me, but I did pre-loosen this hex nut just enough so that I can do this without knocking everything over, and apparently not loose enough. There we go. And it looks like there's a better close-up of the cutout, so it's just not a straight. That hex tool, or that hex bolt, obviously rides in between these two grooves, so there's no way for this to come out accidentally. This handle can only be installed one way. It cannot be installed with the handle going out like you would normally think. So just because it won't clear parts of the press. In fact, you can see it hitting the press right it's actually at the top, not so much here, but at the top post. So the only way for this to go in is like that. And I'm going to try and make that as straight as possible, or maybe not worry about it on this first go around with the camera. And naturally the camera is in the way for my first pull, so I am going to stop the camera and finish this first pull because I'm in midstream. Alright, so here's a view of what the handle looks like. Again, a little unusual because I wouldn't say you're over the press. I mean, yeah, you're a little bit over the press, but you're not on it. You're not anywhere where you're going to hit anything. Whereas the ball would have been right here. So hand-wise, you're in the same position. But what I will say is when I line the bottom of this up with, so the ball was actually about a 2-inch higher. Hopefully you're seeing that. I can't tell because I got the camera tilted. But about a 2-inch drop in length of pull, which I like because I'm not a fan of the super high handle, as you recall from my Hornady. This material, and I'm out of frame again, so let me reposition. So this material is a smooth polymer, and maybe I'll wrap that in leather or something. I don't know. You know me, I will tinker. It actually has a couple smooth round, so you could put a level on here, which I did. In fact, you can see the tooling marks. I put a level on here to make sure I was level in the handle, so psychologically it would feel fine as well as physically. But let me move the camera out of the way to do a full pull, and if I can feel the difference. All right, another shot of it installed. Again, whereas the Hornady is essentially vertical like this, the PW is not. It's in the back. And again, that's very similar to priming, whereas kind of like on the Hornady lock and load. So you've got activity here. Primer would be inserted. It would be in here now. And it looks like I need to clean that a little bit. And once the primer's there, you would seat the primer by pushing forward. And it locks in very similar to the 1050 or 1100 on the Dillon. And then you're back to... So if I was standing directly in front of this, which I'll try to do as close to normal with the camera being a little bit in my way. So the difference, the Hornady goes lower by a couple inches, lower in terms of when the ram or the base plate is all the way up. But the Hornady stops when it's at 90 degrees, whereas the PW 800 Plus goes back probably another 25, 30 degrees. So different, but a little more, I don't want to use the term firm, different mechanism. So there's no guessing that, I mean, that locks in terms of the primer, whereas the 366 is on the downstroke instead of on the up and backstroke. So again, half a dozen of one, six of another. But those are two upgrades, and let me show you the final upgrade. So I lied. I had one more upgrade I forgot about. So I did do the shot counter, and the shot counter has a very clean and simple mounting. It just, these two holes go right here, and the arm is activated by the powder charge and shot charge arm activating. So installation is a lot simpler than on the Hornady. 2 thumb screws. I will be modifying this. I'm going to tell you that right now. I will probably shoot the exposed metal in. I actually looked this up, and this is something you can purchase. So I was debating whether I shoot that in, I forget what it's called, a powder coat, because that would get me into powder coating. So I may tinker with that. I will cut this off. My OCD drives me crazy, and I can't. That's not staying. And then maybe painting all of the exposed metal, either truck bed or truck bed, or potentially tinkering with powder coating. I've often thought about getting into powder coating and haven't. So this may give me a reason to dabble in powder coating. And let me get the other side, because I'm right-handed, and if I do it with my left hand, it just will feel janky. So let's reset this to 0. And again, you should see the powder bar. And that's a big difference. This powder bar is gear operated, as opposed to, it's just a different type of gear operation. But nice and smooth, nice and easy. But again, I'm not a fan of that. It serves no purpose, so that's going away. And whether that remains bare metal or not remains to be seen. I will say I do like the roller ability of the handle. It's easier on the hand than just gripping the ball. And I'm a fan of the Lee ball on my Lee Classic turret. I have not upgraded to anybody's ergo solution. So I thought I would do a few things that made this press more mine. And these couple of upgrades do that. And now I will unveil the last upgrade. And that is a little wrinkly, just because of how it's been sitting. But 800 Plus is now protected by a black canvas cover, which will keep things less dusty in my more than dusty garage. So that is it for things at the moment, and more to come as we compare the 366 to the PW 800 Plus.